So I just started YouTube not that long ago with actually creating videos, but on Instagram I have been getting a lot of requests to make a resin tutorial, and there are a lot of resin tutorials on YouTube. So I think I'm just going to film this and see how it goes. I'm going to start off by showing some molds. So I use two type of molds. These plastic ones here, which I'm not really sure what kind of plastic they are, but all I know is that the resin doesn't stick to it. And I buy all of my molds online. Sometimes I get them like maybe at one of my local stores, but majority of my molds are online. So it's molds like this here. Or you can use silicone molds. Resin doesn't stick to silicone as well. So you can use silicone molds like this one here. Now I'm not sure what type of brand of resin that this one is because I threw the box away. I've been using this one for the past couple of weeks and I'm almost out. I guess it's called Super Glaze because that's what it says on the bottle. But basically I look for an epoxy resin that is a 1-to-1 ratio. So it has part A here, which is the resin part, and then part B, which is the catalyst, which is like a hardener. Sorry about the hand block. I got this one from Home Depot, I believe, from a hardware store. You can get epoxy resin from hardware stores. I can get Envirotech at the craft stores here, but it's really expensive, so I've been testing out these, and these are actually just as good as the Envirotech. So here I have poured equal amounts of part A and part B resin into containers. And now I'm going to mix the two together. Sorry, this is the boring part. Okay, and then we're going to stir it up. So it is going to get cloudy. You can see it starting to get cloudy here. And you're just going to keep stirring it until it turns clear. Okay, so I stirred my resin for a few minutes, and this is all based on the instructions that was on the box, and I think the bottles also had some instructions on it too, so I just followed the instructions on the box. And then as you can see, there's a lot of air bubbles that came up, so I'm going to let that set for a little bit. And I am going to make the Jack Skellington mold because I really want to make this into a bag charm for my purse. I made a Jack Skellington earlier, but this one failed. So I tried to make one, but I kept doming it, and it kept spilling, and it kept getting little bumps like this here. So I'm just going to remake it. Okay, so this is the resin that I'm going to use to pour into my Jack Skellington mold. It does use quite a bit of resin for this mold here because this one is rather large. I'm using this plastic cup here to kind of level it out because it's a round shape. And I guess you can also see how I color this. I get a lot of questions about how I color my resin also. So I just use these pigments here. And you don't really need that much. So I'm just going to mix up the color. Okay, so I added my pigment and I've mixed it up. So now you can see that it is white. It's not completely opaque because that's not what the look I'm going for is. And I did add a little bit of pearlescent pigment to it just because I want it to be a little bit sparkly. So after you have mixed up your color, I'm going to go and put it inside of the mold. And then I'm going to level it out so my piece is level. And there we go. This piece is actually, excuse me, this piece actually takes a while. So I'm going to let it sit overnight and I'm going to work on it tomorrow. Oh, and then also I'm going to get rid of the air bubbles, which I'll show in a little bit. Okay, so I had some extra resin left and I decided to pour some gummy bears because those actually don't take that much resin. And I also domed these two pieces that I showed in my last resin update. So now I'm going to show how to get rid of the bubbles. So there's two methods, which I'll pull that out. Let me see. Okay, you can use a straw, just a plain straw, or you can use, you can see it, a heating tool, like an embossing gun. This one right here I found on eBay and I think it was pretty cheap, like $12 to $18. It was under $20, that's for sure. But I'm going to use a straw because I still need to get used to this heating gun and I actually ruined one of my plastic molds with it, so I'm going to use a straw for this one. And that's basically it for my resin tutorial. So that is how you mix your resin, how you pour it into the molds. These, after you blow out the air bubbles, these pieces I will let sit overnight for about 12 to 24 hours. And then I'll pop them out of the mold and then I'll finish them off. Normally with the gummy bears, I don't have to do anything. You'll see that there's some excess that's starting to spill out of the mold. I'm just going to sand those down, trim it and sand it later after I pop them out. The Jack Skellington one is going to take a little bit longer of a process because that mold is more detailed and it's kind of like a half painted type of piece. So it does come out plain, but see the eyes here? These are actually painted with acrylic paints and then I have to dome over it. So don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And if you have any more questions, just comment below and I'll try my best to answer it. Thanks for watching. Bye.